Hello everyone and welcome to USA, what could possibly be the championship decider today. We'll have to find out. But we are here for USA. This all still goes on, but seriously though, I'm joined by Zig. Zig, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, so a title fight we get to see in GSR. Something we didn't get to see too much in Tier 3, but we saw it close in Tier 3. The championship be very close, but the two title contenders, what could be possibly three, but probably won't be, is V2 Combat, GSR, and Alabama Outlaw are the guys contending for this championship, Zig. So right now we have V2 Combat on pole, but 8 minutes left in the session. Bama and Axe are the main two. V2 has to win both races with fastest lap in order to stay in contention. That's what he has to do. He cannot afford any mistakes. V2 cannot, and he's had a mistake season where it's always been mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. That's what he's had. So let's all see how this goes. Why does it show past broadcast? Why does it show I'm not live? I am live. What are you talking about? Okay, well, it does show I'm live, but I don't know why it doesn't show. Okay, there we go. It shows I'm live now. Okay, cool. So, with all that being said, championship battle between Bama and Axe. So, between Bama and Axe, that is 33 points between those two. And with this championship battle, what needs to go on is Bama needs to score... Okay, so with Axe, let's just get this right. If Axe scores 7 more points than Bama, he's still in championship contention, but needs to win with fastest lap in order to be in contention still into the next race. At next race, at Bahrain, with Bama having no points. So, with all this being said, you got Axe 33 points behind. He's going to have to gain 17 points per race with all this being said. So a second place finish with Bama having no points will definitely help him for sure. So, Zig, what do you see in this championship battle?
I see a good fight going in the last race if Axe can still stay in comparison to the first race. Definitely. Well, V2, I don't think he's going to stay everything.
No, he's had some bad luck. He's had good pace, but some of it has been his fault. Others have not been. He's just choked away the races and Mr. Boker to the top. But yeah, we've seen so many things go on with V2 and everyone else. We've seen V2 have issues every single race, every quality session, every race. He gets a pole, he does this, but then he spins out in the race and battles it. You know, he never can put a race together. He never can do good. The thing is with Bama and Axe is that those two, Axe has missed 3 races this season. Keep that in mind. Bama has raced every single race this season. So, if you're going to ask yourself who really deserves a championship, I mean, think about it. With Bama racing every race, Axe, you know, Axe had many misfortunes. Bama's had some misfortune, but not as much as Axe, because Axe has sat here and had so many misfortunes, so many problems happen, and he's had a lot of bad luck. And with this, Axe is really kind of 3 races behind Bama, with all this being said. And Axe had the problems in Austria he had, Canada, where he probably should have won both races. But who gone on to win Canada? Bama. So Bama or Hound one of the two. But still, with all that being said, Bama has shown he can stay consistent. He can do good. He can have consistent finishes. But Bama has not shown what Axe has showed. After pulling through, bad luck, issues, everything else that's gone wrong for Axe doesn't go wrong for Bama. Bama being one of the more luckier people in this league compared to Axe, where Axe has had so much bad luck, misfortune, everything else, stuff his fault, stuff out of his control, just stuff, a mix of between those 3 things as well. You've had a mix of that. So if anyone, in my opinion, deserves a championship, I think, in my opinion, we at least deserve a championship fight. I would like to see Axe win it over Bama, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen, because with all this being said, Axe and Bama, you got those guys, but really, to be honest here, Bama, he sat here and raced every race. Axe has missed 3 races. Yeah, is it your fault if you miss races? Yeah, it's your fault. But Axe has had so much bad luck and so much misfortune to the point where at least even if he missed those 3 races, he should still be maybe 20 so points behind. He should not be 33. Maybe he should be behind, but not that much behind for sure. So definitely you could question to yourself, should Bama be in this title fight as much as he is? Should Axe be closer? Should, you know, all this happen? Like, what goes on? Because, you could definitely say Bama deserves to be in this championship fight, but does Axe deserve to be ahead? Does Bama... You could debate for hours. But I'm not going to sit here and debate for hours. Do I think Axe deserves the championship over Bama? Probably. But after all the bad luck Axe has gone through and all the bad luck he's had, to still be in this championship fight is incredible. And for Bama to have that 30, 45, 50 point lead, make every race, and have that gap over Houndum and everyone else, and still have that championship lead by at least a race right now, is very lucky, but still very skillful from both drivers. Zig, what do you think of this championship battle? That'll be raining in the race, I heard.
It's a good battle, to be honest. And if V2 does get into the mix, I definitely will be surprised.
We also have Mr. Booker here, who had troubles last week. And, with Mr. Booker, probably not going to have troubles considering how lucky he usually is. I mean, I would assume right now that Axe is going to have to do a lot to win this championship. And same with Bama, because where he's at. He's sitting 8th, not really good in the pace, not really good in anywhere else. Axe is sitting 3rd, but Booker is not too far ahead. And ignore if if the transition is bad. I'm using the translate. No worries. No worries. But it's alright. Either way, though, yeah, like you said, Surat, and I heard it from the chat as well, and even before I started the stream, rain in the race. It's going to rain at the very end of the race. Who chooses to do what? Do you have to go to inners? Do you have to go to sand softs? Do you have to stay on your tires? What all goes on? What is all your thought process in all the situation? Because a lot of things can change, and a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of things can very well go right. We've seen a lot of drivers be the luckier ones throughout the season. We've seen Axe, you know, whenever things go right, it just doesn't go right and stay right. You've seen with Oker in Spain. He gone to the back of the field, but he got charged way through the front of the field. He had no issues whatsoever. So there's a difference between drivers' luck and, you know, whatnot. So really, you could say this season's championship battle has been better than previous seasons because we've not had a championship battle in this league go down to the second to last race in Tier 1. We've had it in Tier the Tier 2 last season, where I think it gone to the second to last race, but last season I think it went to the third to last race or the second to last. But I think we might actually, if it turns out the right way it does, we might actually have a championship battle go down to the final race. And I'd love to see it, but I definitely will be a bit biased for sure of who, you know, deserves it and who doesn't. But regardless of that, you want to see a championship fight. You want to see people be in championship contention. You don't want to see people sit here and, you know, just relax and have no, you want to see that fight between the championship drivers, and I'm sure we'll see it between Axe and Bama. We'll probably see some fighting going on, but GSR silent goes up to P7 as there's a big train of cars stopping toward turn 1. Yeah, Zig, what do you think about this championship battle? Do you think it goes to the final race? Do you think Axe, Bama, who do you think deserves it more?
It's definitely going to go to the final race. But Axe does deserve it more. He worked really hard for it. Bama's just here every race. Bama's not as consistent as Axe. Axe had up and downs. But Axe definitely does deserve the championship over Bama.
Now, I mean, you could say a lot of things, even if Axe misses those 3 races still that he missed. You know, he had many misfortunes and many stuff that was his fault and many stuff that happened that probably could have changed for Axe if it weren't for those 3 races. Canada, where he was going to probably win the race. Austria, where he was probably going to be toward the podium, or at least in the top 5, and he wasn't because he was wrecked 5 times that race. And then you also had Monaco, where he was running in a podium position and going to be up there, where Bama got a podium and crashed out late in the race, which was his fault, but the other one's not so much. So, I mean, if you exclude those 3 races that I'd say, you probably would have him up there. And now Mr. Booker goes to the top and is on top again. Yeah, you could definitely say, though, for sure, you could debate for hours who deserves it, Axe or Bama, but really, in my own opinion, you know, if Axe doesn't have those 3 races, Axe would be within a race of Bama at least. You know, we'd actually have more of a championship battle, but certain people have their luck, and certain people have things go wrong, certain people have things go right. We've seen that before with Bama, we've seen that before Axe. You know, Bama was actually unlucky in last season on the GSR Championship. He deserved to win that one in last season in Tier 2. So, obviously, a lot of things did go right, a lot of things did go wrong with him at the same time, but he held through and won the championship at the same time. And here I know V Ripley actually is the one to cross the line up to P3 right there.
Also, since we're talking about it, Bama's down in 11th, and he has this lap, and he's gonna have, if he doesn't improve, he's gonna have really bad starting position in the grid.
Yeah, you don't want that, but especially with, you know, wanting people to wreck. Hey, let's see what if people want to wreck, you know, see what goes on. But Atlantis goes up to 8th. The Ferrari is next across the line. That's Rumbly Fungus. 7/1000ths down, and to the start-finish line, Rumbly Fungus is out. Now the Mercedes of the line. V2 Combat goes second and goes quicker. The Haas, though, Mr. Boker's pitting, and now up to 9th goes Bama. Not enough to beat anyone else.
Yeah, I wonder if
Williams,
really
though,
wants them
Scotty
cookies.
Jets retires. There is Squid Jr. going out as well, but to the line, Jack goes 3rd as well. Now Axe, the championship contender, to the line, goes P3, and he's going to have a good starting position today. Now, you're a Gnome, goes to 4th. The Renault, Ricochet, where does he go? He goes ahead of Bama, 6th. So, Axe in 3rd, Bama 11th. Oh, things are going to change.
I wonder if
easily.
Bama's
Now,
gonna
Axe,
try with the strategy to start on mediums or hards.
yeah, because how long, or yeah, because of how long this rain could be, or whenever that rain does come. You don't know.
That's gonna be the main part of this race. You
It's outside the top 10, so
you just risk for it, and just go to just stay on the dries.
it's all going to be depending on how this late race goes, because we saw, remember, ZIGSTARBURST earlier this season in Tier 2. You know, that quickly that changed with the safety car, late race safety car, and all this stuff going on there. You know, we also had these championship contenders, Axe sitting in 3rd and Bama in 11th. But if Axe sits here in P3, he's not going to win the championship. He'll be in contention for the next race, but he won't win the championship. If he scores 2nd in both races, he wins the championship. If Bama scores no points. So, let's go through the lineup. Mr. Boker under 5's on pole position. V2 Combat 2 is outside. GSR Axe in the front row, or not, the 2nd row. You're a Gnome, P3. Now, Jack, Ricochet, Ripley, Minimac, Rumbly Fungus, and Atlantis round at the top 10. Now, some names outside the top 10 that you usually wouldn't see, or guys who just have not been performing as well. Bama, Silent, Dita the Game, and JRT Norris as well, outside of that top 10. And mediums for Surratt, but you also have Bama outside the top 10. What tire does he go on to? Does he go on hards, and does he try to wait for the rain? Does he go the mediums? Where does he go? Because it could be questionable for Bama on where he goes and what happens. Because if Bama sits here and goes on the hards, how long does he stay on it? I mean, it's all going to be a big question, a big game changer. Who knows? It's all going to be changing very quickly. I do want to check what tire these guys are going on, though. I heard you try to say something, Zick. I wasn't sure what it was, but Dita the Game is going to the mediums, and I think Bama is going to stay on those softs as well. Surratt goes to the mediums. I'll be starting pretty soon. 20 seconds time. Still have a lot of time for people to go to different tires if they want to go to different tires, but you also have now Squid Jr. going to the mediums. Who else decides to go to the mediums as well, or even the hards? Who goes to what? Everyone outside the top 10. Okay, so Striker goes mediums. And Bama, or no, Silent goes hards. So that's going to be interesting. But Bama stays on softs for this. Oh boy. So you have 5 guys outside the top 10 who go on to different tires. 8 drivers being outside the top 10. So, why don't you say, Zig, we go through our ones to watch. I'm going to go through 3 guys I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with one of the championship contenders. You go with the other one. I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm gonna go with Bama Outlaw just because at this racetrack he won it. Well, he was in contention to win it last season. He had mistakes made, but he came back to finish in the podium. Where Tier 2 last season, it would be easy to come back in the podium. But the thing is, Bama charged his way back to finish second place, I believe. So Bama, in the later part of the season, he really turned up his, performance and really decided to perform very well and got him his chance at points finish and podiums. Now, he's running on 11th tier, more competition in Tier 1, but he's had to deal with all the different competition and had to fight his way through with all good luck, bad luck, and everything different. I also have on my favorites as well, V2 Combat sitting here in P2. V2, I believe in Season 1, he contended with Axe for the race win. Axe came out on top winning this race last season from P20. So, things can change in Mr. Boker under 5s. Always good, always very well, and always running at the front. We always see Mr. Boker up there every single week, every single time. And Mr. Boker under 5s, is this his race where he could possibly interfere with the championship battle with Axe, where he just stays in front and tries to win the race, or tries to do whatever he can to win the race, and Axe just finishes second or has people behind him. So, Zig, who are your 3 favorites?
Axe is definitely one because in the championship and starting E3, if he doesn't get putting in the turn 1, he could get definitely one for the race. Also, go for last place, Scotty Gypsy. He's showing pace, he didn't set a qualifying lap time, which is curious, but he does show pace at tracks. And let's go for midfield, Atlantis. Atlantis, he's good when he wants to be.
Yeah, that's something I want to say as well with Atlantis. He always avoids the trouble. He always avoids the carnage going on. So Atlantis can probably do that. We saw some carnage at the start of last season. As last season's race here, we saw some cars, crashing in the S's, crashing everywhere. I didn't get to commentate this race last year. You want to know why? Because I had the flu. I was sick last season, so I couldn't get to commentate this race. I couldn't get to see the great drive from P20 to P1 for Axe. But now, as we go to the 5 red lights, we are going for the starts. And here we go for the green flag. We are underway here in the America. And now, here we go, side by side, V2 and Boker. But Axe gets a better start. Axe up to P2, doing what he needs to win this championship. But the Alfa Romeo tried to dive down the inside of the Mercedes. And around the outside, Axe goes. But they're 3 wide at the exit of turn 1. Side by side, Romney Fungus getting ahead of Atlantis. And Bama dropping to 10th now. Side by side with Atlantis and Bama gets ahead, and there's contact with Atlantis and someone else. Atlantis having to go off the racetrack. But now at the front of the field, there goes V Ripley going around, going for a spin. And so does someone else, I could have sworn. But now, V2 Combat and Axe side by side along with Jack and Gnome. Going wheel to wheel here into the back straight now. Side by side between V2 and Axe. V2 really wants his championship, and he's going to have to get to Boker as well as Axe. V2 and Axe battled in this race last season, and they've gone back and forth with their commanding battle. But now they go side by side down the back straight on lap 1 as they try to get on Boker. Side by side, Gnome gets by Jack, and they're still side by side, but Jack gets ahead for the time being, but they're making contact. V2 and Axe around the outside. Axe going off the racetrack. Axe stays there. Axe diving it down the inside, but V2 switches back, and Jack and Gnome now side by side as well. Now through the back of the pack, JRT Norris and Bama make some contact, as well as Striker, who goes out of the running. Bama and V2, or Axe and V2 try to go side by side right there, but they're going side by side to the final corner now, and V2 dives down the inside, but Axe is there as well. This all gonna allow Boker to pull away. And all going to allow Boker to get that race lead that he needs for a race win, for what would be a second race win in just 3 starts in this league. Axe and V2 trying to battle each other as well.
That was the most cleanest turn 1 I saw in a while.
Yeah, only Striker and Ripley, the only two who spun out there, and that was only by themselves. So very clean compared to last year's start, where you had 5, 6, 7 cars spinning around. JRT Norris picking up a penalty as well. You have Mini Mac trying to gain on Jack, but really for position now. Here comes Ira Gnome on Axe down the inside, and Axe is getting gone by here by these guys. You know, we saw him go up to P2, then he just fell down to P3, now fell down to P4, and Jack is there to challenge if he needs to. Getting jets from P18 to P16 already. A few positions gained, but really 5 positions gained. 5 positions gained from JRT Norris, and as well 2 positions from Bama, which is what he needs if he wants to have a chance at this as well. Axe and Gnome trying to go wheel to wheel for P3, but they're contending for what would be the podium spot, which Axe wants to be in. And you see the clouds coming in. When will it rain? We saw the end of the race is when it should be raining.
Yeah, but I saw Williams. They had a perfect start. I thought they jumped it, but now both Williams are in 50. Not a good start for it.
Silent Rat trying for P13 as well, heading through turn 19 now, where the Indy cars are allowed to extend. But now Mr. Boker taking that fastest lap on the second lap of the race, heading to lap 3. And now Atlantis and Bama get close as well. Bama split between Rumbly Fungus and him. And now Axe is kind of getting close to Gnome and staying with them. But the thing is, with Gnome, V2, and Boker and Axe, Gnome is now within DRS range in this lap, where they're going to have DRS on the back straight. Gnome is now within DRS of V2. V2 is now within DRS of Boker. So, things change. Axe is within DRS as well, but that's the only good part about it. Ricochet gets a penalty for corner cutting.
Well, it's really
The very lower part of the point. Go ahead.
Train.
Yeah, it is a train from really P3 on down from Axe. You see back here, one of the cleaner races so far, but really, to be honest, what I see right now, back to the points, I'm seeing guys who are interfering with Bama here, in a way, where Bama's got some points on the board, which is good for him, and which is what he needs, but you have Atlantis right here in position who could steal a spot. You could have Rumbly Fungus up ahead, but Rumbly Fungus, though, Ricochet, and Minimac, all really close to Jack, but they're close enough to Jack to the point where if Jack gets close to Axe, Jack and all of them are able to challenge, and Bama is still within DRS range, which Bama needs to be if he wants to have a chance to contend with Axe at some point in this race. Bama needs to not have Axe outscore him by 7 points, and championship battle is still on. If he outscores him by 7 points, championship battle goes to Bahrain.
Yeah, Axe, if this would be the last lap, Axe would have gained 10 points on Bama this race.
But he'd have to win the race next.
But if Axe
Yeah, that's the difference.
improve and try and not make it where he has to win that heat, because Boker's a fast car, fast driver, which should get him into the second, but Axe can definitely get a podium, that would help out with some distance.
Yeah, Bama's still in the points though, so Bama's gonna need to do everything he can to prevent Axe from doing everything he can. Which meaning, Axe is within Bama's a bit, but Bama's gonna have DRS this time. But the only thing is, he's barely staying within that train, and JRT Norris goes by Atlantis for P10. Atlantis is trying to charge back at it right now, while JRT Norris has DRS. Really the only close one. But now side by side, Atlantis banging him down the inside. Key to the game gets passed by GSR Silent as well for P13 at the very back of the screen. And now Atlantis is by. But Bama is without a DRS, which is not what he needs. And Axe is without a DRS of Gnome, which is not what he needs. Meaning, Gnome has got up to V2.
And first DNF and first safety car.
Might have been contact with Lioness, maybe, I'm not sure. But there you go.
Oh, it turns out.
A lot of things are going to change.
Atlantis has no
Scotty
win
Jets is
advantage?
able to pit though, because he's right there. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Raging out of the race, maybe going why? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know.
Not sure at all, but that helps Bama. definitely.
Yeah, because now he was out of DRS, and that's going to help him. But I also want to say this helps Axe at the same time. It helps both of them, just because Axe gets within DRS, and maybe the strategy might screw him, maybe might play with them, but who knows? Just because it's a mix of things between Axe, Bama, and V2. Remember, I'm still saying V2, he's in the championship battle, but it's very unlikely. He's 52 points back. And with all this being said, V2 Combat, 52 points back. He's going to need to win the race with fastest lap in the next 2 races with Bama scoring nothing. That's probably impossible, to be honest.
I wonder if he's gonna pit and go to mediums or hards.
Oh, Scotty Jess is pitted in. One hard striker is pitting on the softs. So, people who've already got a chance to pit, has pitted.
Yeah,
That being said, if any of the front guys pit, Scotty and striker pass him. Oh, were you saying, Zach?
This also helps V2 as well, because the gap between both and V2 was about like 1.5 seconds. No.
Yeah, no one's getting on V2 as well, so.
That helps a lot. That helps all the changes.
Yeah, it really does.
And
I think V2 is going to need it because V2 really needs to be on that podium. He needs to even win the race, which we've only seen him do once this season, back at Russia, where he dominated that one over everyone else. So I'm just kind of curious, what's all happening here with everyone. Boker, does he pit? Does he stay out? Boker does pit. So does V2, so does Gnome, who hits the board. Axe also pits as well. Minimac pits, but Jack stays out. Bama stays out as well. I would assume so does a lot of the other people as well, but we're going to see who's pitting. You see right here, Gnome, Boker, V2, Atlantis, Minimac, Dita, and Axe all pitted. I don't know. Maybe got held up.
Yeah, held up or that?
That's usually, yeah, held up, that's what I would assume.
A position in that.
Well, V2 Combat and Boker all come out early behind behind everyone else because with this being said, V2 and Boker come out 11th and 12th. Boker was 19th in Spain after he pitted compared to everyone else. Different time where he pitted. Boker charged the field and won the race. Boker can easily do the same thing here. So could V2. V2 and Boker can kind of help each other charge through the field, but it's kind of like with NASCAR where you have lap traffic in the way, but now you actually have cars who are contending or are just slower and in the way, or it could put up a fight or it won't put up a fight. And that'll be the same with Axe as well because he's at the far back. Now, yet to pit in this race is the top 7. Lap cars are allowed to fight in NASCAR, but now you have, and the league, you have the ghosting is on, so you have those cars who are lap cars ghosted. But with these guys, it don't matter. You could be on the same lap and you're not ghosted though. I'm not saying you would be a NASCAR, but I'm just saying it's just that's the way it is. That's just the way it goes. Safety cars in this lap, but regardless, I'm just saying Axe, V2, and Boker are gonna have to charge the way through the field, and to the point where it gets. As V2's an AI, it's going to get to the point where they have to charge the way through the field and have to fight everyone harder than they have to with the race leader for the championship because they need to stay by them and they need to not have any troubles.
Point one thing out. They only got passed by Sarah Rep. So the Bama wasn't.
There you go.
Might be part of strategy. Who knows?
Who knows, but he has GSR Silent, Squid, Ripley, who all pitted. Silent didn't, but all those guys who pitted and now going to challenge him. Scotty Striker pitted right before the safety car came out, right when it came out, but now backing up the pack is Jack. When does he go? When does he decide to go? He's backing it up and making people think, when are you going to go? Now to the phone corner, he's going to go right here, and there we go, back to the green flag. Gets a big jump on Ricochet, and he's almost at a DRS, but now Minimac takes his time penalty and from back on there. Charging through the field. Where does Boker come? Boker trying to get a Striker. Now Boker goes by Striker and down the inside. Get by Striker. Striker tries to challenge back a little bit, but Striker dives down the inside, side by side. Striker challenges Boker. And side by side, Boker cannot get past Striker, so V2 Combat can challenge him. And this also gives an advantage to the guys who pitted as well here, who could challenge Boker and V2, because Boker and V2 are getting held up at the very back of this pack of the guys who've pitted or yet to pit. But what could be net P1 really with Boker and V2. Striker runs wide, but now Boker dives down the inside. Boker goes through, and now is ahead this time. So he stays ahead this time, and no challenge from Striker this time. But V2 is within a little bit of range of Striker. He's within passing range, but the problem is Striker is ahead of him, and Striker getting on Boker now into the turn. V2 down the inside of these guys. V2 locking his brakes up and goes by Striker. Striker dives back down the inside, but Axe is yet to pass any cars here, and he's stuck at the very back. 3 cars in front of him are who are en route to V2 in them. Now, Gnome down the inside of Striker. Gnome goes by.
I know.
Axe has 2 cars in front of him that he was passed by through that pit sequence, and who are probably slower cars than him, who Axe will probably get by. But Axe has to be smart with this, and that's what V2 Boker did, getting by Striker. And V2 Combat picks up a penalty.
That might have just...
Yeah, that could easily with Boker against penalties half the time. Axe goes by Striker. Axe is by, so two cars between him and V2, which is what he needs. But I'm really focusing on the championship guys for a reason, because they need everything they can, and they deserve more time on the screen than everyone else, for sure. I see Milo's watching, yeah. But, Scotty, yeah. Passed by everyone right there, but GSR Silent getting on Bama from side by side here. P5. Wheel to wheel. Yellow flag. That's Dita out.
That definitely does help Axel if he can stay for
Well, he's within DRS range of Minimac. He's wanting to get back in DRS range because Minimac is within DRS range of Gnome and V2 and Boker. So Boker is sitting P9, but now it gets more cloudier and cloudier and cloudier like we expected. And the more time he wastes with VSCs and safety cars, the more time it has to rain at the end of the race. Which we did say was going to rain at the end of the race from what people said. So VSC should be ending pretty soon. As we see here, X at the very back of this pack, V2 and Boker on different tires. Yeah, it might end. But I'm guessing with Boker going to hards and V2 going to mediums, I'm thinking they're different strategies. V2's want to go mediums, and I'm thinking, what's his name? Boker's waiting for the rain. But now look at how much his pack is backed up from Squid Jr. on back, P8. Rain in 10 minutes, apparently, from what I'm hearing. Silent goes by Bama. Bama gets passed there again by Silent, and Bama goes by.
Really close.
Side by side for what's net P1. Boker and B2, they tried it. Not enough. And with all this being said, Axe is kind of caught back up to this pack, but Squid Jr. is really holding these guys up. And now, down the inside, Gnome goes on V2. Side by side, Minimac. 3-second penalty, but V2 forced off the track and forced to cut the corner. Now side by side and making contact. V2 sideways. And around goes Gnome.
And Gnome is off the track.
Axe goes through, but Axe is about to get turned. Gnome picks up a penalty as well. Striker goes by all of this. And now they're 4 wide. V2 puts Gnome in the wall. And Gnome goes around. Hard crash. And Gnome and V2 are not happy. Tempers are flaring, and these two are gonna go back at it. Gnome and V2.
Yeah, V2's making good.
Gnome clear by V2. No, side by side again, missing front wings. Gnome goes by, but V2 and Gnome were not too happy with one another. You could tell right there that they were not happy, and V2's championship hopes are probably over. And Gnome cut right in front of him right there. And Boker passes Bama. Bama pits. So does Jack. Gnome and V2 are going to pit this time. But Gnome is going to hit the pit wall, I think. No. He did not. That was close. That was close. I'll tell you that right now. Bama does pit along with Jack and along with V2 and Gnome. Axe and Striker are close. Striker got by all that. Axe made some contact. They were 3 wide, but Gnome and V2. Gnome really just affected V2. Gnome really just took V2's championship hopes to done. We're at lap 10 right now, but championship hopes look to be over for V2, and it's not looking too pretty right now between those two on the racetrack. And I don't think V2 is too happy with him. V2's kind of waiting there out of the pits. V2 kind of. Yeah. Axe gets DRS on Striker, which Striker don't have, and Axe is getting on Striker down to the outside. Axe goes by. They're playing silent trade positions. Gnome gets a penalty. Yup, there you go. Still be in championship contention. Yep. And Silent goes off the racetrack. Boker is going to challenge this for P4. Side by side right here. Boker might go around the outside right here. If he could do this, this would be amazing. Boker around the outside there. Around the long right-hander. Turn 16, 17, and 18. Boker around the outside. What an amazing move that was. Oh, wow. Axe tried it down the inside of Minivac, but Squid Jr. and Minivac in between Silent and also Boker in between them as well. So yet to pit is Squid Jr. Silent in the top 2 as well. Gnome gets a penalty as well, yeah. He's not too happy with V2, I can tell. These two are not too well. Oh yeah, you can tell V2 and Gnome not too happy. Gnome pinching into the pit wall and making contact with V2 and about to turn him right here as V2 locks up his brakes. A battle for P15, but what is a championship battle right here? Kind of in a way. Now Gnome pinching him and almost around goes V2. V2 loses out of the curb.
I think VT's too worried about fighting the battle. Way too much.
He's going to have to, though, if he wants to have a chance, and he's going to need another safety car, but he has Gnome in his way, really, and Gnome's really being a pain to him, really. Oh, yeah, Gnome, yeah, slowing down a lot, you can tell. Yeah, that's, Gnome, I don't even know what he's doing. I don't even know if he's intentionally slowing down or got damaged, but he goes down the inside of V2 now, goes through, and he breaks his front wing. Retaliation right there between V2 and Gnome.
Yeah, Gnome should be
Saw that coming. Yeah. He's interfering with the championship battle, which I wouldn't say V2's really in it as much. He's 52 points behind, but with this being 2 races left, V2 still has a chance, but not a legit chance. Yeah, Gnome's just slowing up. I mean, he's just slowing up on him. Gnome's like actually slowing up on him. Like, he's actually slowing up. Like, I'm watching this.
Yeah, after this, Gnome should definitely get a race ban. Yeah. And V2's involved with it as well. Gnome almost gets a penalty. Yeah, Gnome is, yeah, you can see Gnome is just brake checking, brake testing right now. With V2, he's not too happy right there. They pit, both of them pit. Yeah, that was definitely intense.
Yeah, that hit was intentional as well, I can see right there, but that's just dirty. That's just dirty. That's just dirty. I don't care who you are. That championship battle, you know, at least let V2 have the chance. I don't care if you wrecked you or not. But I know V2 wouldn't intentionally wreck someone like that. I know he wouldn't, unless he got wrecked. I mean, that's the way it is with most people, but still. Squid gets by Minimac and side by side again. Here are Gnomes. Yeah, he's just waiting at the pit exit. I'm literally watching this. If anyone wants to clip this to get a penalty, I don't mind, but that's just unfair. Like, that's just not right.
Yeah, Gnome should get a race ban. V2, nothing really should happen to V2. He's doing.
Hope he knows the stream's watching him. I hope he knows that, because it's just not right. It is childish. He's intentionally blocking V2 for no reason. Like, look at this. V2 gets a penalty. I'm literally like, this is like childish driving at its best.
Yeah, Gnome should definitely didn't have a legal block that time, but just that's something that's done.
It is if you're going like 10 miles per hour, just illegal blocking, and it usually hand out a penalty there, but I'm watching this battle because I know something's gonna go down. I know something is, and that's why I'm staying on it. But Gnome is side by side with V2 Combat. It's side by side into sector 3. V2 and Gnome make contact again.
That was more of a rotation. No push dive again.
Ricochet gets past Ripley as well for P3. I apologize for not focusing on all this, but still some entertainment right here, I guess, right? Oh yeah, Gnome just break Victor right there, and that's some contact between them. Retaliation again. No, Gnome's just doing it on purpose. Like, this is just very childish.
Oh, it's not gonna think of it. It is on purpose.
Oh yeah, no, it's no question it's not on purpose. No question if it's on purpose, but Ricochet is fun. Yeah, see, this is what I missed. I'm sorry, guys, I missed it. But, oh, there they go out of the race. Gnome almost upside down. Gnome almost upside down, and there goes V2 and Gnome. It finally happened, and there's a safety car.
Gnome's gonna get penalized. Race stand.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely tough break to down V2.
I'm not telling you GSR chat for that one. That's just Bama drive-through. You don't just drive like that. That's how you drive in the interstate if you're pissed at someone. No, you don't do that. No, seriously, like, that's just... Zig knows because you live kind of close to me. You know, like, that driving is like just stupidity driving on the highway when people are pissed off. You know that. That's the way it goes. But it's stupid because it's like V2 is now out of championship contention right there. That's why I was trying to focus on them. I knew they were going to go out of the race at some point.
And it also
I knew it.
Which definitely helped out Bama a lot after
yeah, but he has a drive-through now, so does it really help him out now? I mean, think about that. That's the thing. You don't just drive like that. I mean, I don't care how pissed off you are at someone if someone hit you or wrecked you or just got so. I don't care. It's a racing incident or just racing at its best. No matter what. You don't go back because he's in championship contention. You can't take that back now. Or they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know she was in championship contention. No, you can't take that back now because now it's Gnome out of the race. And so is it with V2. And Gnome retaliated out of V2.
And
which was unfair.
Retaliation went far enough to cause if there's awards at the end of the season, I'd love to vote dirtiest driver, but I'm not gonna go into that topic. But that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I know. I saw Ron's with that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into that because there's so many you can debate. There's so many you could go on about. But seriously though, that's not how you drive in a racing league. You go here to have fun. And 5-second penalty from Mac with the collision with Bama. But you go here to have fun. You go here to make a community, and you go here to race and do what you have to. But now it's raining. Yep, that's wrong. If these drivers.
But that's the thing.
I would not pit now.
But that's the thing. You go here to have a community, you go here to have fun, you go here to league race, and you go here to race in a video game virtually. Yeah, it may not be taken seriously because it's virtually, but still, no matter what, Zig, can you hear your mic for a minute? But with all that being said, I know it's virtual stuff, I know it's stuff virtually, and I know it's not real life, but this is the reputation you get as a person. This is the reputation you get in league racing. This is the reputation you get. You don't just sit here and just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wreck some people, and I get no reputation for it. Squid and Surat pit on the inners. It might be a little bit too early, but still, I mean, it's raining. No, you don't just do that, and that's just wrong. Yeah, I caught everything else as well, besides retirement. Yeah, I caught that too. Yeah, so. I know V2's gonna have a clip. I know he will, and I can't wait to see it because.
Oh, V2.
If you're V2, you don't really need a clip for anything else besides the DNF because that almost caught in the stream. So I hope V2's watching, but no, seriously, that's just unfair driving. That's just not how you race in a league race. You know, you get the reputation for racing like that if you you do that. That's it. And no one leaves the session.
Yeah, Ian's like
it's like Davis on I-95 in the US. Oh my god, you guys with the I-95 jokes. Yeah, they retired in not Surat. Gnome almost went upside down. But speaking of everything, we've not really caught up with a lot besides retaliation. Mr. Booker has the race lead over V Ripley, and Silent has yet to pit. He's the only one yet to pit. So you also have the top three being Boker, Ripley, Silent. Then you have Axe and P4. Then you have behind that championship contender Bama in 7th. But with all that being said, I think Bama would still win the championship based off of this.
It's very hard right now. Let's just say you're really on good strategy. The hard is more.
You're just waiting for it to rain even harder, but the guys who are in inners took a gamble.
Guys that are on the inners, not a smart strategy, but that's so smart. Not very smart. They're going to use a lot of time to heal it and possibly overheat the insert so they don't make it to the end or very.
Yeah, but when does Mr. Booker go? He's the race leader right now and heading to the final corner. Mr. Booker does go, and he's the race leader. 4/10 is that gap, and he gets a bigger gap now on Ripley. Throughout the field, we're checking where everyone goes.
Too large.
Still a sunny patch there, but it's not raining hard enough yet.
But yeah, if you run hard, you really have a good strategy. This will get you 3 seconds for that. But Bama's in 7th, Axe in 4th.
Sorry, I was just paying attention to the chat for a minute, but Jack tried to go on striker there for position for P10. And now, Mini-Mac and Bama down the inside for P7. This is almost gonna hit Fungus. Jack is by striker, but they're 3 wide and they're off the racetrack. I think Jack gets some damage. He might. He does.
Yeah,
On the right side, I think.
Yeah, right side, right near the face.
And now Axe goes by Silent for position.
That's gonna hold Axe a lot because Axe currently has 15 points, but Bama having 4. That would be acting 11 points.
Remember, appeals are a thing as well if you get corner cutting or penalties that aren't served.
22 points lead. But if Axe can, he's gonna want to try and make the gap between him and Bama for the championship at least 2nd place.
Yeah, I see Sam Steed. I see some of the guys here. No. Very nice. Glad you guys are tuning in. But now, down the order, yeah, intermediates, it might be time. He might be trying a strategy. I don't know if it's time, though. It's way too early. There's still that sunny patch, though. I don't think it's raining hard enough right now. But Bama, he's trying a strategy, and I respect that completely. I'm glad he does, but drive-through. That's right, drive-through. That's right, drive-through. That's right. That's right. I thought he was just pinning just because of inners. But he had the drive-through he had, and he had to serve it. That's right. I kind of forgot about that, but regardless, Rumbly Fungus and Atlantis try to go side by side right there. Silent still with the DRS of Axe. Silent is still yet to pit, and he would go to inners and have the strategy work out very, very well. Great strategy decision by him. Got a nice background there. But either way, Jack diving down the inside of Rumbly Fungus side by side and making contact, but Surratt goes around. No, Squid on those inners compared to Bama, yeah, Squid made a wrong strategy choice, but right there, as you see, how much that changed and how much going on right there with Squid. He's going to lose a ton of time, but it's nowhere close for the inners, and I think someone just broke in a full wing in there. Might have been Jack there on the left side, again. And Surratt is out. No, it isn't. Jack diving down the inside of Rumbly Fungus, side by side up the corner. They're side by side again. Jack with damage, Rumbly Fungus not so much, but Jack goes ahead.
I think Fungus
and Jack is really creating a train here, really creating drivers much slower.
Really close between Fungus and Able.
Now, yeah, I would say pretty soon. It's raining a little bit harder, but not as much. And Scotty Jets is off the racetrack, right at the pit lane. He has a puncture, I think. Oh, does he? I don't know. It seemed like it. Yeah, so anyone just tuning in or just tuning in the chat, there's a championship battle between what now is Bama and Axe. What used to be Bama, Axe, and V2. Bama leads the championship by 33 points into this race. So, Axe needs to outscore him by 7 points and continue that championship battle. Now, off of a tie, Axe would need to win next race and get fastest lap. Axe would win that tie. Ricochet goes by Striker.
Yeah, but if I would be correct. Boker and V2 would be 1-2 at the moment. If V2 is still in the race. Boker and V2
Yes, if
could
he
be
was
on
in
the
retaliation,
same.
yeah, it would be 1-2.
But,
Or it should have been 1-2 in my opinion, but Minimac
yeah.
goes by Axe and dives down the inside and goes through.
Not really that.
Raining hard now. Now is now the time, or at least closer to the time for inners. I would assume it's getting closer, but I wouldn't assume it's close enough for
I'm
the time
gonna
for inners.
say maybe not this lap, next lap possibly the fifth. And
Yeah, I would say
within, like, 2 laps at least. And Axe
Axe picks up a penalty. There you go. There you go. Ripley
I
pits.
don't think Hammer has one at all.
It's soon. It's almost time for the inners, but it's definitely gonna be a late race. Those softs working well. For Minimac, yeah. There you go. But yeah, I mean, you see all the strategy calls. You see people pitting. You know, the thing that's gonna hurt Bama the most when he goes to inners, he's gonna have to make another pit stop, but he's gonna have to bet on a safety car at this point to save the championship hopes if Axe, you know, yeah. There you go. But Ripley pitted, Bama comes out, and Bama trying to switch back here. But Bama's gonna have to pit again, or Bama could go the rest of the race. Bama is a 9-lap hards, or 9-lap medium, sorry. And the thing is, Bama served his drive-through from that safety car, so yellow flag, that's Ripley. Around in the inners. You can tell the inners are not the right strategy right now. Yeah, I would assume it's Scotty Speed. 4P4, Atlantis getting on silent now. Is it time for inners? Is it time at least? Good question, but people keep spinning it out with inners. Atlantis down the inside of Silent, goes through, but Silent is still there to challenge, and Jack to the outside. Silent diving back down the inside, now 3 wide for a moment, and they're gonna go 3 wide again. Jack is damaged, but Atlantis stays ahead, and Jack is around the outside. He's maybe gonna make this work, but passes off the racetrack.
Yeah,
I would hope he'd have to move that up because that's a pass off the track. Yeah, he's gonna give that up. Yeah, nowhere near time, but I would assume in the next few laps it's definitely close to time. It's definitely close to time in the next few laps for inners, I would assume. And Silent does pit.
If I was Bama, I would definitely take it. Silent in the race as well. But yeah,
Bama has a lot to lose, but if you're Axe, you have a lot to lose as well. But if you're Boker or any of the guys who aren't in championship contention, you don't have anything to lose whatsoever. Consider like this all race where drives are better than inners, but it's still raining. Yeah, it does look like it's getting slightly harder every lap, but it's not hard enough for the inners. And Atlantis, 3-second time penalty. Jack and Ricochet go off the track, and Atlantis, it almost got chopped off right there by Rumbly Fungus, or not Rumbly Fungus, Ricochet. The Rumbly Fungus Striker are there to challenge as well. Atlantis struggling as well. But Boker, 2.7-second lead Minimac, sitting in second, but Axe where he needs to be. Bama has 2 points, so 13 points. 20 points will be the gap between the championship two. So Gnome, and B2 crashed, and Gnome decided to intentionally wait up and retaliate. Similar to what I did to Mortars that rush up, and now diving down the inside, Rumbling Fungus hits into Atlantis. Yeah, if you don't know what I did at Russia, if you haven't told probably, I basically got into an incident with Mortars, and I basically intentionally did something wrong. And I mean, I'm not going to go into it too much, but something similar to what Gnome did right there. Gnome intentionally just kept waiting up and brake checking in. Then they finally wrecked out, which, thank God, I guess, but Gnome. Yeah, he's out. It's time for inners, I think, guys. I think Silent's gaining a little bit. I saw he was. No, he's not. I'm wrong. Yeah, everyone stays out right now. But, yeah, no, inners is not the time yet. It's still raining very lightly. I'm dumb. Don't listen to me. Still, you know what I mean. It looks like it will get time in the final few laps at least, because we might have time with 8 laps to go. Every race in Tier 1 we've had at USA has been rain affected in GSR, so Mr. Williams around that squid. No, that's Scotty's AI car. That's DNF'd, I apologize. Striker and Rumbly Fungus go side by side for P7. Rory versus Torosa. Rumbly Fungus gets ahead. Striker hits the back of him.
Berkeley tips, I think that's gonna be.
It's not raining hard enough, but still, it's gonna be time for hitters pretty soon. Once DRS gets disabled, you want to pit at least once DRS gets disabled.
I'm gonna say one thing. Boker, he's not in the championship race. But does Boker want to stay out on the truck for the rest?
Yeah, that's true.
About 8 minutes better than But we'll act if this up.
So it would be 18 points as it stands going through the finale. Axe with 15 and Bambo with 2. No, it would be...
It would be a 20-point gap.
20. Math wrong there, Sam.
Current gap is 33, but...
And Jack pits. Now, fastest lap being implemented. Boker got fastest lap there.
Yep, Boker's gonna keep fast lap, no doubt about that way.
Yeah, that's for sure, especially with these conditions. Enters for Jack, though. Is it time? No, I don't think so.
Nah.
This helps Bama, though,
so... not showing no effect to the brain.
Mini-Mag trying to get its softs for the lead with Boker 1.5. It's like at 1.3 now. Definitely going to talk to the championship contenders and everyone else after this race. I want to talk to them and see what they think. No, what's going on? And what they expect into Bahrain. Striker roughly Fungus with the DRS range of Atlantis. Striker gaining on Atlantis for P5. Not enough, of course. Not enough to gain. Now Ripley went under the softs. He's slowly gaining on Silent, but not as much anymore as he would be. So the dry tires are the preferred one. It's all mind games here. It's all mind games. Now with the championship standings right now, the gap would be 22 points right now for that championship lead. So Axe would have to win next week in Bahrain in order for Bama to not get the championship. Ripley, as we saw right there on the screen, picks up a penalty, but it's getting cloudier and cloudier, yeah, but it's still raining. But is it raining hard enough? No, because Ripley is getting on silent.
Ripley gets to second.
Oh, Axe!
Axe gets
there you go!
I wonder if he's going to try and prove that. Probably will.
I would hope so, because, I mean, if you're a championship contender, you want to do everything you can to appeal. I think Bama, you know, he wanted to try to get the drive-thru removed. I mean, Riles did. But I wouldn't think so, considering what happened with Riles. It was with 2 to go, style deal, when he got that removed. It was actually, like, really unfair with Riles, though, so I'm not saying Bama was or wasn't. I don't know. I didn't get to see it, but regardless of all that being said, Bama would want to try to appeal something first.
Boker has 2
yes.
Mini-Mac has... You could say Mini-Mac. Axe has 2 penalties, 6 seconds. Ricochet has 6 seconds as well. Longest has 6 seconds as well. Dennis has 6 seconds as well. Doctor has 3 seconds. Emma has 2. Jack has 3 seconds and 2 warnings. Silent has 2 warnings.
Now it looks like it might be raining harder for hitters. It might be to the point where it's almost time. Now it looks like it looks like it's getting closer and closer, at least in that section of the track.
Axe could definitely finish second place here, because Mini-Mac has.
Oh boy.
A whole statement.
Oh boy, yeah.
Mini-Mac has 3,
yeah.
6, 9,
4
12,
penalties.
12 seconds of time penalty.
He's gonna need another warning to get 15 seconds, so he might be knocked off the podium. So that's gonna help more points. But yeah, there you go, Squid Jr. as well. Yeah, Squid Jr.
Axe can definitely finish P2.
Yeah, and I think
Mini-Mac is about 3 seconds. Minimac has 6 more seconds of
Ricochet
penalties
3
than Axe.
penalties, Rolling
So yeah,
Fungus 2. Yup, there you go. Axe could
Ricochet
probably
has
finish
9
second or third here, but
seconds.
it all
Well,
depends on
good
what
news
Mimic
will
does.
be racing Ricochet. Would be winning those.
Now it looks more, I agree. Now it looks more cloudier, and maybe almost time for inners. I keep saying it though, it's not time because the tire difference between Ripley and Silence.
Ripley.
And you see right there, Ripley might go for inners here.
Yep.
It's definitely raining harder than it was before.
Axe might hit after that big slide. Not big slide, but it was a slide. Lost about a
Striker and
second.
Atlantis for P6 though. It's going back and forth. Atlantis might try it down the inside here. Will he? No.
Shut up! Axe might hit. Axe is gonna fail.
No, he does not. What does Ricochet do? No.
I think everyone's gonna stay out of the end.
Stay out, yeah. Unless it gets really, really harder, but I don't think it
Which
will.
I doubt. Which is hopefully someone would tell Axe that Bama does hit.
All this being said, Minimac might be demoted down to P4 with all the penalties after this race. So Axe would go up to P2, but Boca would win the race on 19 on the part. Where would he be? Because I think Ricochet is 2 or 3 penalties.
Wait, Bama pitted. What's Bama gonna do? Minimac will not fall down to P4, Minimac will fall down to P3.
He might get passed by Jack here. Bama might. And Bama goes for
maybe
inners. Okay. That's smart. He has nothing to lose. He's not going to gain on 7th. So he's going for inners to try something if anyone else, or if a safety car comes out. Because we've seen that before late in the race with these conditions. Bama is going to stay in 8th, but Jack is still there.
Be quiet. Oh, and also, if Axe does finish second and Bama does finish 8th, Axe will have to just get a single second place finish. 1 second place finish. But if Bama does get no points and Bama takes second, if Bama does get no points, all Axe will have to do is finish P3, go fast lap to clinch it.
It's time for inners. It's time for inners.
Is it?
Boker pits. It is. The front guy's pit, but Axe stays out. He's going to try to get the race win. This is smart. DRS disabled, though. The thing is, Axe has nothing to lose. He has everything to gain here. Boker going on inners. Ricochet as well stays out. Axe really has a lot to lose, but the thing is, Axe is trying something different, which might be able to work. If this is pulling off, he might be able to win USA 2 seasons in a row, but he needs to hang on. Yellow flag. That is Squid Jr., I think.
All Axe had to do was finish P5 at Bob Lane and
Boker's gaining?
no points to tie the champion.
Compared to Mini-Mac, Boker's gaining a ton.
But
yeah, Boker's gaining a ton, but it's all going to be a matter of time. Does it continue to rain as hard? Penalties? I mean, Axe is going to have more than Boker, but Axe can finish second and secure second based off of this. I don't know. Boker picks up a penalty, though. It's all going to be huge.
All Axe has to do is just keep that 3 seconds gap between him and Boker.
Yeah, but he might get passed by Mini-Mac now. Now, for penalties, though, I don't know. That's all up to debate, and that's all up to what could happen, but still, Striker's on for P5, which is a good finish for him. Ricochet's on for podium. Oh, you see these guys sliding right here. You see the difference it makes. Mini-Mac gaining on Striker for position. See the difference in straight line speed right here. Mini-Mac dives down the inside. Yeah, it's definitely time for inners. I knew it was.
Was it smart for Axe to stay out?
I don't know, because now Boker's gaining on him.
Boker's
I don't, but it could change a ton of things. Yeah, you see this, yeah.
And
Boker goes by Ricochet around the outside. And Boker's gone. There you go.
Yeah, Boker won this race. Axe should definitely stay out.
Yeah, there's no way he can not stay out.
He should not battle Boker at all. There you go.
Oh, Ricochet pitched his time now, so he's definitely going to be down in the lower points. So does Rumbly Fungus, and Striker does as well. So Axe is definitely guaranteed with one of the only guys staying on and dries. Axe is definitely guaranteed at this point. A possible second, a possible third. What could happen? Axe might even not even get this off of penalties for second, though. Think about that for a second.
Axe will get second. Because Minimac has 12 seconds, Axe only has 6, so...
Yeah, but do you see how much it's raining? Do you see how much the difference is? It's the difference between Minimac and Axe right now. Look at the gap, 5.5, 4.9, all in one sector.
And Axe is first in the car around these times.
Axe might actually get passed by Atlantis here soon. Even off of penalties, who knows? Atlantis has a total of 2 penalties. That's tied with Axe. But the thing is, you got a question now. Oh yeah, Atlantis. Oh yeah, look at how much he's getting an Axe as well. Oh yeah, is there enough time to gain an Axe and pass him? Yeah, you gotta question that. You gotta question a lot of things.
Yeah, but Axe should have hit. Because if Axe would have hit,
yeah, but he has nothing to lose. I see why he did it.
Okay.
He had really nothing to lose. He had really nothing to, you know, I mean, not nothing to lose. He had a lot to lose, but he had nothing to lose trying something different.
Yeah,
if he tried the same thing, he would have just got second. He at least tried it. You know, it's getting much harder now. You see what the difference makes.
Atlantis has 6 seconds as well. Atlantis
yeah,
can only get this if Axe gets a 3 seconds. And someone's fun.
Squid Junior. Yeah, you see the gap is 12 seconds, 11 seconds right here. Atlantis is getting so much, so can Atlantis take this podium? Or can Ricochet?
Axe is going to get P3.
No, don't even say that. No, don't even say that, because look at how much Atlantis and Ricochet are gaining. They're gaining a ton. You can't just assume that, because there's no way.
Needs to dispute the P3, not spin out. If he does spin out, that's obvious. But Axe currently does have P3.
He might even get past Rumbly Fungus.
Oh,
6.4 the gap is.
This could not be that.
The fact he's on more worn tires just ruins it.
Could definitely depend.
If Atlantis passes Axe and Bama, or if Atlantis passes Axe and Bama passes Striker, the championship is over. Keep that in mind. Just got told that.
Another 3 seconds. That actually will not help Axe.
4 points. What could be 10 points. Yeah, if Axe gets passed here by Atlantis and Ricochet both, which he probably will, the championship's over. You see all the strategies that's happened. Atlantis here, gaining an Axe, now goes by for P3. And Axe's championship hopes are fading away now. In 1 split second, Bama gets by Striker, which is all he needs to get the championship. And Jack dives down the inside and wrecks himself. Around he goes Jack in the championship. Now, is that clock right over? Now Striker's trying to pass Bama back. Poker comes home to win on track. His second win in 3 starts in GSR. Striker by Bama. All Bama needs to do is get 8th off of penalties, and Axe have 5th off of penalties. Mini-Mac comes to complete the checkered flag. Atlantis and Ricochet fight to the line, as well as Axe as well. Rumbly Fungus might pass Axe because he's off the track. Axe might get a penalty. No, he doesn't. But to the line. Atlantis and Ricochet and Axe has done all he needs to do to try to stay in contention, but he gets 5th. But to the line, it is your Season 3 champion, Alabama Outlaw, making every race, doing what he needed to do to secure 7th. What is unofficial, but is the championship for now. Bama takes it, and Bama would be your champion of the season. All unofficial, but still, it is over. Penalties may come into factor, though. Keep that in mind. Penalties may come into factor.
If that appeals, where does that team finish? Even if Bama keeps 7.
Well, considering 5th and 7th, Bama gets 6 points. Axe gets 10. Axe needs to finish another 2 positions up. Bama needs to finish another position or 2 down. So, yeah.
Axe needs to get both of his penalties appealed to stay in hope.
I'm talking to the race winner. I'm going to talk to Axe and Bama.
But yeah, if Axe gets one
see what they think.
Axe will get 4.
So, just gonna get some post-race interviews in here. Bama, P7, Axe, P5, and Boker with the race win. I'll get to talk to those three tonight for the championship interviews. But, Bama, unofficially, it is the championship. All that being said, it is unofficial. We don't know if anyone appeals, gets any penalties post-race. We don't know what all goes on. We don't know. But what we know right now is that Alabama Outlaw is the current champion of the season, and that's the way it looks, with securing that 7th place finish, but Axe staying out and ruining the race for him, being P5. Axe only outscored by 4 points. He needs to outscore by 6 or 7 points in order to take it into Bahrain, but he does not take it into Bahrain from what it looks like unofficially, and this is the way it stands. Silent had no penalties as well. That's a good race by him, especially at a track like USA. I'm going to try to get Axe in here. I don't blame him if he's mad. I'm sure I would be too, but either way, though, I'm going to interview the race winner right now, Boker. Congrats on the win. We didn't get much focus because of the championship battle, but hey, you pitted on inners later, and had the lead you did, was going to win the race even off of penalties, was going to win the race on track, but second win and 3 starts in GSR. Make sure your audio is included, Boker. How do you look at that?
Everyone absolutely cocked up their strategy except me and Mini-Mac and Atlantis. But yeah, it's a good win. Of course, by 20 seconds, I just got everything right today. Except for going on hard instead of mediums, but I think because of how long the crossover period was on for, it just maybe was better in the end.
So, second win and 3 starts in GSR. How do you look at that?
It could have been 3 out of 3, but Brazil was an absolute. I don't want to get into that, but yeah, it's good. It's good.
USA penalties with that we went 3 or 6 seconds, I believe you had. How do you look at yourself based off of penalties from this racetrack, because it is a tough racetrack to keep it on the track and not get any penalties?
Well, I should have only had like 1 warning the whole race, but there's 2 warnings. But I can't be asked to appeal it because I've won the race. But like, yeah, I got like a warning for understeer and BS's. It's 1 corner where you understeer, and then yeah, it just gives you a warning, even though you could lose a heap of time. But and then I got a warning of a safety car. Yeah, I could have got no penalties, but it's fine. And then, yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Alright, well, congratulations on the win today. Great victory for you and the Haas team. I believe Bama's here. Bama, you there? Make sure your audio's included.
I'm an idiot. I had my mic muted. Hey, what's up?
Well, there you go. Unofficially, you're champion.
I don't know what to say about that race. That was definitely tense, knowing that Axe was kind of running in the podium the whole time, and I'm just sitting here in like 10th. But yeah, I had to drive through like halfway through it. I thought it killed me, and then I noticed how like everyone was. I knew the rain was coming, so I was just preparing for that, and I saw like I think 3 or 4 people decided to go on inners a bit too early, and that gained me 3 or 4 spots, and ultimately led me to getting 7th and hopefully clinching the championship. No penalties, hopefully in the stewards room or whatever,
Yeah, so last season you took the championship after having many misfortunes at the end of the season. You gone back and forth with DNF to podium to DNF to, you had many chances where Houndoom and Logan could have gained on you, but they didn't, and you won the championship last season. You had the same thing kind of happen this season. You made every race just like that season. You had things go right, but also wrong at the same time. And Axe kind of had the same way too. But would you say it was similar to last season with the way that went, where Axe had probably the chance to gain on you, but he didn't after you had your misfortunes and struggles?
I would say so. It kind of a feeling of deja vu. Like, it was like almost the same exact situation. I kind of had the points lead from Tier 2 just because I had been showing up more. And Houndoom and Logan were a bit late to the season. But, yeah, there was just like the last 5 races in both of these seasons where I've just had a guy coming at me with a late charge and just having to stay consistent, which I really haven't in the past like 5 races. Besides Abu Dhabi, I've been absolute shit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thankful for it though. So maybe F1 2020 I can actually have speed and win the championship that way instead of just showing up a bit better.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. You can't be wrong there. I mean, Axe is Axe. I mean, we've seen with the races that's happened. Axe probably there's 3 races where he probably could have done better. We mentioned before the stream started, before at least the race started. Canada, Austria, and Monaco. 3 races where he could have done better, or not had unluckiness, or just had stuff go wrong where he didn't. Now. You, out of having bad races, Italy being one of them, many other races being one of them, you had bad races. Not the pace, not always luck, but you always found a way to came back and finish in the points. Compared to Axe, where he kind of has sat here and always had bad luck, but comes back to get to that position, but never finishes there. How do you compare yourself and Axe in the championship and in league racing because of right now where you guys stand?
Oh, I gotta say he's a better driver. Definitely faster on pace, and Tom Trowell, he's always about 6/10 or more ahead of me, but I don't know, I think maybe sometimes I just get myself into maybe just I luck into it, and sometimes maybe it's just maybe a safety car, you know, that always throws a wrench into something, or like Monaco, I think I got 4th, I believe I did, and probably didn't deserve it, got it. I don't know, some of these races I just kind of get into, and it's just maybe it's just my day. He's got a lot more pace than I do, but he just for some reason he's only how many wins does he have this season? 1, was it Germany? I'm pretty
2.
sure.
Germany
yes,
and Italy.
Yeah, like we had the same amount of wins, but he's clearly the better driver. Just if you watch the race itself on paper, I'd say we're a bit more comparable, but yeah, he's definitely better than I am at this game.
Yeah, I've got to ask though, since you talk about who's better, who's what. I mean, obviously you can compare all day, and you could say, "Hey, this driver's better." Oh no, this driver's better. You can compare all day and say have those stats where it's like, "Oh yeah, he has this stats, he has that stat," but you can compare that all day. Now, your pace though, I've got to ask because recently, from what I've seen, and myself included from the races I've commentated with you in it. You've not been as close to the front. You've not been as close to fighting at the front. There was 4, 5, 6, 7 races ago, around that time. You were competing for wins. You were competing for podiums in GSR. And now you are kind of competing at the midfield of GSR. And you're competing at the front. I'm not saying you're not, but I'm just saying you're not as close to the front as you were before. Do you think many fast guys are just coming in? Do you think you're just guys slower? What do you think has all happened? Because you've somehow been able to catch this championship and hold on to it.
I think there's like 3 or 4 things that kind of combined. One of them obviously was the fast guys. We brought like at least 6 different people into GSR in the last month who were top tier pace. You know, they could all win a race easily, and maybe that kind of contributes to it. But I also this is kind of a weird thing, but one day probably 2 months ago, my game crashed, deleted all of my setups, my career mode, everything, and started me over. So like. Got back in, and I had none of my setups, so I had to like go back and like put in like the time trials from like and like save it from that way, and maybe my setups aren't as good as they used to be, or like something like that. Maybe that I don't know. Maybe I've lost. Like I can't match my time trials anymore. I'm like 3/10 off. So maybe that had to do with it. I don't know.
I could tell because in GSR, like probably like 7, 8 races ago, you were up front running with Ricochet, running with them, running with Axe, running with them, but now you're running with like Atlantis now and guys who sit back like 6th, 7th, and I'm like, how is that possible? And I'm sitting here as well, like in ARL, like I'm sitting here seeing like last season, you were running toward the front, you're running toward the points around Atlantis, everyone, but now you're like nowhere near that. I'm kind of wondering because you've got to obviously prepare the next season in F1 2020, of course, into any league you're in. How do you look at that then? Because you've got to get better in pace. I mean, your pace is definitely falling off a little bit at the end of this game. It's not been the best, but you know you can improve it, I'm sure. How do you then improve it then? Because you know there's an issue. You know there's at least somewhat of a problem, but how do you fix it?
Well, adjusting the F1 2020, I think, is going to be a bit of a change for all of us. And I think everyone kind of, in racing games, I think everyone kind of has that game where they're good at, and that game where, like, maybe there's a fall off, like, for example, Forza, I've known guys who are like amazing at 6, but not so good at 7. Maybe 2020, but there'll be a bit of an alter in the skill level for the leagues that we were in. But obviously, got practice is huge. Putting in the hours to work at all, especially the new circuits that will be on the schedule. Getting used to the new ERS system. I think it's automatic this coming game, so that's going to put
button as well.
Yeah, it's going to change it a little bit. So maybe if I get a head start on that, maybe I'll be able to compete at the front a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. But hey, you've also won the Tier 2 championship last season. And do you want to know where that was clinched?
Was it here?
This race. Around this race, yeah. It was I believe it was here, Australia. It was one of the two. So
it was Australia because I won the race.
Yeah, that's right. But still, it was in the final 2 races. It was at that point where it was the last 2 races, no matter what. So impressive by that. But you've now won the championship in GSR in Tier 2 and Tier 1. How do you look at that stat? Because you're the only driver to win it in different tiers.
Well, it's honestly an honor that makes. I think I've won 7 titles in total now. But yeah, I came in. I remember that it was like just a Saturday afternoon, and I don't think I was even really doing anything, and I'm just bumped into Quinn Half, you know him, the owner, and he just said, "Hey, you want to do my league?" And there's like, I think there was like 5 guys for China Tier 2 last season. There was like 5 or 6. Won the race by 30 seconds. So, oh yeah, it's Friday, but yeah, I won the race at least by 20 seconds. And I was like, I'll do this again. Seemed pretty easy. But, yeah, just kept racing and eventually got that championship, then got into Tier 1, and I didn't really know how I'd add up to Axe or V2, you know, more of the top guys who were racing. Ricochet, too. He's quick, too, and all these guys. And I thought maybe I could get about 5th, 4th, you know, kind of just try to work my way up, and got lucky with some of the races and found myself here. So it's been a great ride.
How do you compare yourself to other champions at GSR? Axe, William Lassell, you know, compared to their seasons. You had in this. Think about this. The most wins this season by someone has been 2 wins in a matter of 14, 15 races. Okay. Compared to the other champions, Axe won 5 races. William, I believe, won 4 or 5 races. And the thing is, with all that being said, alright, Zig, but with all that being said, you know, you won 2 races this season. You tied the most as of right now. How do you look at that, then, compared to the other champions? How you've not had a dominating season or an actual season that's been like, oh, I'm up at the front, yay, I'm running up the front every race, winning every... No, it's not winning every race. You didn't dominate the season, but you didn't, you know... I don't know how I want to say it, but I'm sure you know what I'm trying to get at.
I didn't... It was kind of like, I think the field is just either that close or maybe the community... I don't know what word I was trying to say there, but the coming of new drivers and kind of the new... There's been new winners. Like, Boker's won 2 races. Felipe won a race. That the guy at Baku, I don't remember his gamer tag, but he won a race. He was new. So, like, it's been a combination of the old guys winning a couple to start, and then a lot of new people to winning at the end. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons why nobody got really stacked up on wins. So, like, there's that part, and also maybe just for my sake, I also didn't really have the pace to fight for those wins. But, yeah, I think it just shows kind of the league is a bit... I think it's very competitive for the top 6 or 7. Any of those drivers can win a race. So I think that's really good for the league.
Now, tell me about the Shuggler races, though. I'm gonna put this interview on for a while. But seriously, though, tell me about the Shuggler races, because there was races where you struggled at in season 2 of Tier 2. You struggled at those races. You came back, won in Australia, and then came back and did good in Abu Dhabi, the last race. The thing is, after stuff happened with Houndoom and Team LM, you know, after everything happened with them, you came back to win the championship no matter what. You were always there. You were always up front, and you were always contending. Similar to this season, now with Axe and V2, those guys contending with you, similar to that. V2 has had the pace, has been very fast, has been contending with people, but necessarily hasn't been the guy who's sat here and dominated or sat here and, finished the races the right way. He's always had problems. Axe being the same way as well. So you've been the guy who just has a problem but comes back from it. Those guys, not so much. Where do you look at your strengths and weaknesses to them?
I would say if I'm going to compare myself just to V2, I think I got a bit more grit than he does, or maybe just race pace, or just I'm able to handle my car a bit better than him, because he's an amazing qualifier, one of the best in the league. But he gets into a race and he makes one mistake, he hits the shit can. Like, I think he just rage quit. I'm not sure, but
no, V2 and Gnome collided, those two.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Well, they were fighting pretty hard, because I could see them on the mini map.
They were.
I'm gaining like 3 seconds a lap, and I'm like, what in the world? But yeah.
Yeah, no, they were.
I think he gets himself into trouble a good bit. Axe, I think, just has the worst luck in the world. Like, I don't think he really does anything bad. Or, like, I don't think he really... Yeah. He's not even that aggressive. He's just a clean, fast driver, and I think he just gets the worst of things. Like, Monica, that was heartbreaking to see him having that, especially if I was in a commentator's point of view. That was awful. What was he, like? I think he was running 4th at the time, and he just hit that wall there.
Yeah. After his first race back on the game in, like, a month. Wherever it was.
In that race, I hit the same wall twice. Broke my wing, but I didn't retire. And that just kind of shows to his luck how he hit it one time and game was not forgiving. But I think in my weaknesses, obviously, I think it's just mainly pace. My strengths, maybe it's just luck and maybe just durability in a race, just to not give up. I don't know, but yeah, this season I've probably had 6 or 7 drive-throughs where you feel like all hope is lost, but then I realized it's GSR and shit's gonna hit the fan in 5 laps, so I was like, all right, let's keep going. But yeah, it's been a rough season for the end part. Yeah, it's been a ride.
If there's anything that I think, in my own opinion, strengths and weaknesses compared to Axe and V2, the way I look at it, V2, he gets into a problem, he's fast and pace, has a problem, and then just DNFs or goes out of the race, or just has something go wrong and never can recover. Axe has a problem, or has bad luck and recovers, but then he just never, just absolutely never comes back. Or after he has the final time, he never comes back, or he goes out of the race from it. Where with you, in my own opinion, you can have an issue and you come back to it to finish in the points, or finish where you need to secure a good points finish in that race where you probably shouldn't have had points that day, or maybe they should have had points that day and you did, and it just going that way around. I feel like that's kind of a strength and weakness with you guys, but I don't really have any other questions, really, besides saying congratulations on the championship. But fun fact I want to put out there. So, if you include William LaSalle, who's Puerto Rican but American, I guess you can include that. But every GSR champion so far, I know it won't be that way in Tier 2 yet, but as of right now, every GSR champion has been American. So I think
no, we talking about Puerto Rican on top, homie.
Ironically, for this race, obviously it was coded, so I made my helmet like a USA like designed thing, because the helmet that has a star in the game, and I just put the red, white, and blue on it, and I was like, all right, patriotism. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I've got to ask you then. Actually, I got one more question. All the stuff going on down in Minnesota or Minneapolis, just down there, in Georgia as well. I guess. Do you kind of salute that helmet, I guess, to them and just America in general after what's going on? I guess.
I just
all this bad stuff.
Virtually, I just kind of wear that as a signal, or not a signal, but like just as a sign of respect for our country. We all live in the same country. We all want the same goal for the country, and it's just for us to be great and for all of us to prosper in our own way. And burning down buildings and just ruining your own city, it's not going to get that done. The situation, it's horrid, but yeah, I just feel like it could be handled much better by, no matter if you are of a race or if you're of color, but it's just unfortunate to see, and I'm glad that I'm virtually able to wear something like that to just show how I still feel like that our country is still great no matter how bad it gets.
Yeah. Well, anyways, congratulations on the championship. Unofficially, we don't know if there will be any appeals or penalties, but I'm still going to act like you're the champion no matter what right now. So, congratulations on that, and have a beer or something. I know you're not old enough. Still, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
But still, go have some fun though. Seriously. Congratulations to our race winner Boker, and congratulations to our champion Alabama Outlaw, both driving the Haas race as well. So, into the final round, Bahrain. We have a championship battle in Tier 2 still left, guys. Don't forget about that, because it's Hamilton, it's Pluto, it's Bobby the Human, all Brits going against each other and trying to battle it out for that championship in Tier 2. So, tune in next week, especially on Friday for that one, and tune in as well for Saturday's race for the finale of Tier 1 and Tier 3 on Saturday. We'll see you guys then.
Talk